Hi everyone. I'm here in our Project 1 assignment description to do a quick overview or maybe add some annotations verbally. What I want to do is talk through this assignment and address what have become some frequently asked questions about the assignment to hopefully give you a better handle on the project that we'll be working on for the next several weeks. So first of all, what is it? The research guide site, as you know from looking at our course at a glance, is the site where you're going to be posting information about your chosen discourse community. And as we'll talk about in our in-class session this week, this whole semester is about learning the writing practices and the literacy practices of a discourse community that you get to choose to look into and to study this whole semester. So the title of this research guide, this website that you're going to make, is Surveying My Field. This is giving us a 20,000 foot view of the discourse community that you'll be studying. So you're going to want to make a website. It doesn't have to have boats, but it could if you wanted it to. The main thing to think about is, well, there's two main things really. This website is going to ask you to do primary and secondary research. And while we're doing the bulk of our composing here at the beginning of the semester, you have the chance to add to your website, do your primary research, and get things edited and polished all semester long. So what you guys are going to turn in week 4 is really like a first draft of this website. And you'll have the opportunity to, again, to add to it and to revise it and to get some of that primary research in. Now, the secondary research methods are probably fairly familiar to you. This project is going to ask you to go on the library website, look at some databases, find some examples of scholarship within your discourse community, learn a little bit more about it that way. But also it's going to ask you to do some primary research. So you're going to be interviewing someone in the discourse community you've chosen. Not a librarian, but somebody who's actively participating in the discourse community. And if the discourse community is professional university librarians, then you would interview a librarian. But if you're looking into let's see, I'm trying to think of the psychology discourse community, particularly focused on child development, you're going to want to interview somebody who works in that field as a child development scholar, a therapist, somebody who is active in that discourse community. So we're going to look at some key literacies or reading and writing practices to develop this research guide site. It's a website. You are going to be thinking about an audience of yourself and any other students like you who might be interested in learning more about this discourse community with the aim to one day be a part of it. So we're going to be thinking about all this stuff. The readings and discussions that we have over the next couple of weeks are going to help you know more about what these bulleted items are. But your content of your website should definitely include 3 major things: a definition and a description of the discourse community, an analysis of the communicative practices, the reading, the writing, the speaking, how are ideas exchanged in this discourse community, and an overview of research for 1 or 2 main topics in the field. Now, when we think about, we talked about the secondary research, we talked about the primary research a little bit. You're going to interview somebody in your discourse community. You might not get to that interview. It might not happen in the next 3.5 weeks. In fact, I'm kind of assuming that it will be harder to set up it might be easier. I don't know. You might get your interview done in this 4-week time span, but if you don't, you have the whole rest of the semester to complete it. You're going to conduct this interview on Zoom or Skype, or if you are comfortable and if the situation is physically safe, you can do the interview in person. And then when you put your website together, I am going to suggest that you use an existing platform like Wix or Weebly, something that is sort of like drag and drop. WordPress could work, Squarespace. However, if you are one of those amazing people who likes to build websites and you'd like to make one from scratch, please feel free. But it's not required. The main thing that I want you to think about is visual design elements, and we'll talk about that over the next couple of weeks. You'll see here in the assignment description that there is an outline for the content. So you need that definition, you need a list of mechanisms, which we'll learn about in the Swales reading. You want to do some analysis, and I ask you here to do some descriptive writing to help you do that analysis. And then getting at those key questions in the field. If you want to see an example that's not full of content, but that shows you the sort of outline of what a site like this could look like, you can check out this skeleton research guide. One of our composition instructors built it. And it just shows you, okay, so like on your homepage, this is where your introduction could go. Here's section 1. Here is where you would want to have the information describing your discourse community, and so forth. So you guys can poke around on this link to see more about this. So take a look at the minimum requirements as well. These minimum requirements, a few of them might not be in place at the end of Project 1, but might be something that you add later on in the semester. You can look at the expectations here to see what I'm going to be looking for when I grade this, and you can see a suggested timeline here that shows you, you know, when you could be planning and composing and completing parts of this website. So when we meet together in class, we'll look at a sample of this project. I hope that you guys have as much fun putting it together as I do when I read them. All right, I think that does it for this Project 1 overview. Please email me if you have any questions, and I will see you guys in class. Bye, everybody.